Come on. Hey, we're live. We are live. I'm going to run the intro.
We are live. Go for it.
Be right back. Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a Booze Dancing Entertainment Network podcast featuring lively discussions about movies, TV shows, and anything else that we're watching while we drink our favorite boozy beverages. If you enjoy this show, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Audible, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can also find us on boozdancing.com, and if you have any questions, comments, show or drink suggestions, email us at boozdancing@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, well, we are on.
We are on.
Okay. Welcome to What We Watch When We Drink, a live stream, not on a Wednesday night like normally. This is a very special one. We are coming to you on a Sunday, afternoon, early, lunchtime, early afternoon, later afternoon, and evening from two continents. That is a lot to say. We have a very special event today, and we are on live. If you're got friends to tell, we are on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Am I missing anything, Ange? That's everything, right?
That's it.
You can drop your comments in the comment chat on all those places, and we will probably not answer you because that's the way we are. We don't really do that kind of stuff. You can send us cards and letters. We probably won't read those either, but go right ahead. Let's see. What else? Oh, I want to remind everyone, boozdancing.com. Go on to that whenever you can on all of our channels. Angelo and Mike, they are reviewing things all the time. Beer, whiskey, wine coolers, canned cocktails. What else you guys? Girl Scout cookies. What else do you guys review?
We've done that. We've done chips. We've done popcorn.
Chips, popcorn. Okay. We've done a little of everything.
And we have had wine.
What's your favorite Girl Guide cookie? I love Girl Guide cookies.
Girl Guide cookie?
What's
Girl
your
Guide.
favorite?
Is that what they call them there? Girl Guide cookies?
Girl Guide cookies.
We call them Girl Scouts.
Oh, Girl Scouts.
Scout. Okay, sorry. Scout.
I like the lemon ones.
Lemon.
Yeah, the lemon ones go really, really
Sorry,
nicely.
I should not have started that because I do love a Girl Guide Scout / brownie / whatever kind of cookie.
Delicious.
I don't like being hit up for buying them, 12 times a year, but that's another story.
And now I want a cookie. Thanks.
I know you want a cookie. Yes. I probably have in my garage, in the cabinet here, boxes from 2 or 3 years ago. I can dig those out if you'd like. We have the special episode today. We have two very special guests. Special is the watchword of the day. We have all the ways from London, England, or we're close by, I would think. We have Don Davies from Specialty Drinks, the Whisky Exchange, the head buyer for such organizations, and from Eastern Canada. She's so far in Eastern Canada, she's probably not even in Canada. She's like ready to fall off of Canada. No. Johanne McInnis, writer, storyteller, reviewer, and now her newest venture is the Whisky Explorer magazine. Correct?
Correct. Yes.
That's right.
So technically, she's your editor. Since you were,
she's
my editor, yes. She is my editor at the moment. Right? Yes, correct.
Doesn't that mean
boss?
What's that?
Sorry. Boss. Let's say I think editors
because Aaron doesn't have enough people telling him what to do.
Yeah, I need more. Send people to tell me what to do. So we are very lucky to have you two ladies back again. I'm not sure Dawn, this is your third time, I think.
This is number 4.
Third.
Four?
3 or 4. Wait, we had you on with Mitch.
One.
Seinfeld
one. Did we have one other?
We did the menu.
Oh,
the menu. No, that was a good
That was a good one.
Right. And then this. So this is number 4. Joe, how many times have you been on?
I have no idea.
At least 4. I think 3 or 4.
She's might be in double digits.
Yeah.
She's getting up there.
Okay.
Well, I am getting up there.
Join the crowd.
Yeah.
Join the arthritic crowd. We We are going to get together today to talk about 3 things we love: Scotland, Scotch, and a Scottish movie or a movie set in Scotland. Local hero. And but first, before we get into all that, why don't we just say hi to everybody and how are we doing on this crazy Sunday afternoon, the second to last Sunday in September? How are we doing, ladies?
I'm day drinking, so I'm happy.
And I got to go to work in the morning, so I'm less happy.
Well,
yes, I know this feeling. This is not a good feeling. Dawn, let's start with you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about stuff that's going on at the Whisky Exchange. You just had the whiskey show, correct?
Yep, about now 2 weeks ago. My goodness, it's going so quickly. So we were early this year. So normally it would be the weekend coming, but Paris moved theirs back because of the Olympics and everything. So we moved ours forward because we can't have ours at the same time. So yeah, it was pretty mental. 7,000 people drinking whiskey over 3 days with over 1,000 drams. Pretty awesome.
You get 7,000 people?
Yeah.
Oh my
over 3
God.
days. Yeah. It's
You
crazy.
guys are an outlier. I was just talking about that with someone here, and attendance at whiskey festivals here is way, 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 way down. And because of various reasons, cost or whatever. But you guys seem to be bucking the trend here. How?
You know
Why?
what? I think we just do it super well. My team is absolutely awesome. You know, we really curate everything. We really kind of, it is so much detail. So we've started 2025 already. Having just finished 24, we'll start straight away because for us, it's about really that experience. And we cap numbers, they're not too crowded. We make sure there's loads of water. We make sure there's food, so we're really making an experience that I think is comfortable for people and that, embraces everyone and is just like master classes are incredible. We did a really funny one with Sekinda, Serge Valentine and Dave Broom this year, which basically just especially with me.
Oh, no one really. No one special.
For hours.
No one you can understand.
I know. No, Serge, no one understands. I love him. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, just, we try really, really hard to just make it an awesome experience.
So what you're saying is we should be buying.
About to be really naughty right now. No. Sorry. Kitten alert.
Kitten alert. So really, Aaron and Mike, what Dawn is really saying is we should be putting some shekels aside and buying our tickets now.
It's on my bucket list. I would really like to go to London to the whiskey show. I mean,
I'm going to tell you right now.
It feels like
I was going to say it's the Mecca. It's the Mecca.
It is.
It is.
Sorry.
It's the Mecca.
This is the most intriguing podcast of me chasing a cat around the flat. Try and put him in the bedroom.
They say never work with animals and kids, but whatever.
So she works with grown children and cats, basically, right?
Joe, I think you're right. I mean, it's really. I was at a rum, and I'll say this in quotes, festival a few weeks ago here in Los Angeles. There were 15. There might have been 15 booths. 15. Wow. That's it. And it was billed as like this massive event, and there's just no one there. Well, no vendors, no exhibitors, and not a whole lot of people.
Cut down.
Well, I think people are just the budgets are not there for it. I think it's interesting. Joe, what about you? What's going on? You got your boat coming out of the water? Not for a while.
No,
weather's.
I don't even want to
climate
talk about
change.
that. No,
climate change is it's good for you. Climate change is great for you because it
you keep the water longer, right?
Warm.
Right.
Yes, that's right.
And there's more water.
So the seas get higher.
Keep driving your cars. Keep driving your cars. No.
Tell us about the Whisky Explorer magazine.
The Whisky Explorer magazine. Well, we're in our 4th edition, and we're still going strong. It's interesting in the sense that I don't want to say we try hard not to be like any other magazine, but we really do try to do things a little differently. We don't take ourselves overly seriously, and a lot of our writers, including yourself, write from the heart. They can just, be themselves and write. I don't want to say whatever they want, but we have some really good writers from a little bit everywhere. Gavin Smith is actually joining us for edition 4, so he's going to write a good piece for us. And of course, we always have Davin with us, Davin Decay, our Canadian expert and wonderful wandering professor of whiskey, as I love to call him. And we had Lou Bryson for a couple of editions. So I mean, we have a plethora of experienced writers and brand new writers and people coming into the industry. Because I was part of our Whiskey Foundation as one of the initial mentees, I guess, I try to make sure that we hire a lot of female writers coming into the industry from that perspective. So I think we have 4 now that actually write from us that are graduates of the mentorship program. So I'm a happy girl. I mean, my job is easy. Read the articles, red pen them a little bit here and there. Add a couple of photos, send it off to my web person. So it's a nice gig. I really like it. I like it way better.
So what I'm hearing is that once I learn how to read and write, maybe I can join the group too. That'd be nice.
No, you've already been blacklisted, Mike. I'm sorry.
We're gone.
You keep calling it Narnia, Mike. This is what happens.
Wow.
You may be available for the cartoon edition, the comic book version.
If you come out with one that's just a picture book, possibly pop up, I could be involved in that. That's nice.
A great idea.
It's perfect for you. Perfect.
You open up to the center and all the stills come out of it. It would be nice.
Oh, I like it.
Before we get too far along, one of the goals here today was to drink a little bit. And the topic was Scotland. So why don't we go around the room? Dawn, it's late for you. I'm not sure you're drinking or not, but why don't everyone pour whatever they got, and we'll talk about what you're pouring, and then we'll get into the evening, afternoon, morning, lunch, whatever it is. What do you got, Joe?
I was in Scotland this year. That's another thing I do is I've started leading women on tours around Scotland. So
we're going to get to that. We're going to work. That's how this
is how it all. Yeah. So I have a very good friend who lives over in Scotland now. Her name is Jo Lawson. I'm sure, Dawn, you've met her a few times. She is pretty much everywhere and knows everyone. And she surprised me with a very special bottle, which I tucked away in my bag and brought with me. It's a let me turn that the other way around. It's a Glenturret. Glenturret. And it is a peated edition. There is no bottle number on it. I think it was just something special that she had made for me, possibly, or a couple of other people. It's from the Falls of Dockart, which I hope I'm saying that right. I'm so sorry if I'm bastardizing the language already. But I decided to open it today. So
cheers to that. Dawn, what do you got?
So every year, the wonderful boys at Ardnamurchan at the end of Whiskey Show give me a bottle that keeps me going till the next year. So this one's their Southern cask release, one from the AD. And I love these guys and I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing from a sustainability point of view. I love what they're doing from a liquid quality point of view. We've done a couple of single casts with them, but I really love this Sauterne because it's just, I'm starting to actually, as for wine cast finishes, I'm not a big fan of them. But I think with Sauterne, with the right new make, really, really works. And this is a really great example of it.
Michael?
I have a Mossburn, the cask bill number 2, which we got to review. And now I'm finishing the review. It's nice when they send a full bottle.
Very nice.
The reviews are very long. It's a very long review.
Yes. Ange?
Well, I've got one that we reviewed a little while back. This was the #1 whiskey of 2023 in Whiskey Advocate, the Glenglassaugh Sandend.
Oh, I love that whiskey so much.
And the bonus, the blender would be another lady, the great Rachel Barry.
Rachel, yeah.
The whiskey's
that
fabulous.
Is my whiskey of the year right now. That Sandend.
You know what? I was skeptical at first because we drank it in the wrong order the first time around. And I think we were on with you, Joe, weren't we?
I believe you were.
I think yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this one and I had the Highland Park.
Yep.
Right.
And I drank them in the wrong order, and the Highland Park just kind of like, it was like a death charge. So I really couldn't taste this. But we went back the second time. Oh yeah, damn good.
It's peach juice in a glass.
Oh,
That
it's
little
beautiful.
manzanilla cask on it.
I think I might have said that, like a peach cobbler, like a
Yeah.
nice peach pie with a little,
Um,
that little bit of burnt. Just good. Okay, but yes, delicious. Aaron,
Now I want peach pie,
Me
which is
too.
not
I
the
get
food.
peach cobblers just sound really good right now, even though it's
Mm,
80
doesn't it
degrees
though?
outside.
The little burnt sugar. Oh, it's so good. I don't
Scoop
have
of
that.
vanilla ice cream. A scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Can we Uber that? Can we Uber eat?
We could do
I
anything you
believe
want,
Uber
Joe.
Eats. They deliver anywhere. They deliver
I know,
anywhere.
right?
Anything's good.
All right, Aaron, what do
Even
you
to
got?
even to your boat. I have a Glen Murray that my daughter helped me bottle at the distillery with Ian Allen. This is a 2005, 60.4%. And it was from like 5 years ago when we were there, and that was in the shop, and we bottled that with Ian. So cheers, everyone. Glad we all could get together again. A little clink clink. Ready?
Hey, you know what? I think we need the Mitch toast. I think we need the Mitch toast.
There are
Mitch
tall
toast.
ships.
There are small
We can
ships.
start.
Yes.
And there are ships
Sail the sea.
Sail the sea.
But the best ships.
Our
How
French.
very
Our
maritime.
So here's
Aw.
to you and me.
Cheers.
Cheers, all.
There you go.
Cheers. Okay. So where do we go? So why don't we start with where this thing started, this content for this episode today. Joe, you said just a second ago that you went to Scotland this past year and you started to lead some tours of Scotland, correct? Right?
Correct.
How many times have you been to Scotland?
Oh my God. I started going in 2007 and I think I missed 2020, 2021.
Wow.
Well,
I think everyone missed 2020.
Yeah, 2021, 22. I missed 3 years. That's it, since 2007.
So the first time you went to Scotland, was it solely because you became the Whiskey Lassie overnight? Or was it because, hey, sounds like a fun place to go? Why did you go?
So is this which came first, the Whiskey Lassie or the Scotland trips?
Correct. Or the egg. Or the whiskey egg.
The very first, I wasn't Whiskey Lassie until 2012.
Ah.
And that's
So
another
did you
story
go
altogether that's bizarre, but 2007 was
So
a
did you
wish
go
from
because
my
of whiskey?
in-laws. Nope. My in-laws wanted to go, and my partner and I at the time decided it would be a good idea to travel for a couple of weeks with my in-laws all around Scotland. We
That's
gallivanted all
funny.
around Scotland.
That's hilarious.
No.
That's a great
No.
story right there.
No.
That's brave.
No.
So I've been going back ever since. No, it was.
Mine
It
are
was
Are you still
in-laws.
looking for them? Did you leave them there? Are you trying to find them?
Under a rock.
They're in Loch Ness with Nessie.
She goes back to move the bodies.
Say no more.
So what is it like that scene
Say
in
no more.
Goodfellas when they got to go out and dig them back up again because
Exactly.
they put a development
That's
in?
right.
Okay.
Cousin Patsy selling the farm.
So when you go to Lefroy, you own a foot, a square.
They're in a foot.
of
You got them into a
Lefroy?
foot. That's awesome. Okay.
Bog.
As
So
long
is
as
there-
no one touches that foot, you're good.
So is
And
there
if
an
you have
in-law
heat-
cask? They were peated and they
Well, all you
in-law
need is
scented
various.
barley. Yeah.
You just need various email addresses to get another square foot, so you can actually have various places to put said parts, if you'd like.
It's like a scene from
Just have to have a
Dexter.
lot of email addresses. Gmail, Yahoo, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. So, okay, so you went the first time more as a vacation. Was it just aside from the familial issues, were you intrigued by the this wonderful country? Were you, maybe I'll go back one day, or never going again?
I think what ended up happening, and it happens, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, I'm not exaggerating. Every time I go to Scotland, my partner and I were together for almost 12 years. And at the end of the 12 years, he literally said, like, can we go somewhere else? Can we just not go to Scotland this year? And I went, this is it. This is the last time. We're not coming back. I just, we're doing this one more time. And then we toured around Scotland. We had a fantastic couple of weeks. And then when we got on the plane in Glasgow, as we were flying over the West Coast, I started to cry, and he just sort of looked at me and he shook his head and he was like, "We're coming back, aren't we?" I was like, "Yeah." So there's something in the DNA of Scotland. It's the only country that I can think of all the places that I've been over my lifetime. Maybe with Italy. Italy's a close second. But there's something about Scotland that when I arrive there, the world just melts away, and it's there's no words. It's like seeing the Grand Canyon and trying to describe it to people. There's no way to.
It's a big hole. It's really deep.
Big hole.
Don't go too close to the edge. How about
that? That's basically Scotland right there in a nutshell.
Don't go to the edge.
Don't go too close to the glass.
Stay away from
the edge in Scotland.
Yeah, no, don't go too close to the Glaswegians. You fall in love. And,
you'll fall into a bar.
You can't understand them, but you'll love them.
Don't understand a single word coming out of their mouth, but that doesn't matter. You're just like, just keep talking to me and serve me whiskey. I'm happy.
I was going to say, just keep pouring is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Say whatever the hell you want. Just keep my glass full.
Yeah. Bring me to a Rangers
game. How about you, Dawn?
Whiskey. Yay.
Yeah. How about you, Dawn? When was the first time you went? I'm sure you've been many, many times.
So actually, probably not as much as Johanne, actually, just because Sakinda was doing most of the Scotland trips. And so I wasn't going up as much. I was doing the rest of the world, Caribbean included, for me. But I actually went up to Scotland for university. And my parents, I had never visited. I just was like, Edinburgh sounds nice. Yeah, I'll go there. And so got into Edinburgh Uni. And my parents drove me, we were living in the States at the time. My parents drove me from our house in the UK, which was in the Cotswolds, up to Scotland. And I'm a city girl. So apparently my face, as we went over the borders, just had this look of sheer terror on it.
Oh my God, there's cows. There's a farm.
I'm with you.
Apparently my mom was just like, she's going to have a heart attack.
There's no streetlights.
As we were coming into Edinburgh, there was this complete relief on my face as I realized I actually was going to be in the city and I wasn't going to be.
Oh my God, a Starbucks! We're safe.
So, and then I was at uni for 5 years, 4 years, and then 1 year I struck. I loved Edinburgh and I loved Scotland, and then I've been up sort of, I would say, every other year probably since, like, to various distilleries and stuff, but. Yeah, hopefully a lot more now. And now the kid is gone, I can do a lot more.
So, you both of you guys, it's magical, right? I mean, yes. Lots of places in the world are magical, but maybe because we like this stuff, maybe not. It feels like a magical place, even hearing about it. And you have not been there, Mike. Have you?
No, I haven't.
I know. You're gonna.
Once.
Come on, guys. Be your acting gear.
Yes, exactly.
Come next year and then come to Whiskey Show afterwards.
We said when you went off camera, I said we got to buy tickets. We got to put the money aside.
I did it wrong, though. I went with family. I shouldn't have gone with family.
Should have gone with Joe's family.
I should have talked to Joe first.
How long have I been telling you this?
Yeah.
I can't shake them. They keep coming.
It's because your credit card has a high limit. That's the problem.
They follow me.
It feels like it's a magical place, even if you've never been there. And I can't even say why. I mean, a lot of literature, of course, and it feels different than than England, of course. It's kind of in the family of Ireland, right? But it has its own little weirdness to it that's cool, right? It's got this, it's very mythical and magical. And then you throw this whole whiskey thing in, this really unique industry that, granted, it's now not so farm-based. It's more conglomerates running the show. It still has that magic to it, right? Does to me.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, very much. And I think actually, we are getting some more of those wonderful small distilleries popping up, which is bringing that kind of magic back. And I think it's such an amazing, Ardnamurchan being exactly one of them, but I think it's
good choice.
It's got these kind of wonderful I mean, it's a beautiful spot. You drive up to Skye and you can't believe you're even on this universe. And you're right. I think actually the comparison to Ireland's really good. Is a mythical kind of magicalness to Ireland too. And then you just have great liquid, great people, great fresh seafood.
The food was amazing. I was stunned by the food. Stunned by the food.
One of the best Italian meals I've ever had was in Edinburgh.
Really?
Which is so weird.
That's so funny.
Why in the world would the food be so good? It was really good.
Yeah. It's more than just whiskey, of course, and it's more than just sheep, and it's more than just Shetland cattle. There's so much more. And you're right. The topography is just crazy and fascinating, right? You're at the edge of the sea. You're at the edge of the end of the world, it feels like. You can see Ireland in some places. You can kind of see, Canada, maybe, if you really look close. It's just really, I don't know. You've got people that speak Gaelic still. You've got people that speak, I guess it's called English, but I can't understand it. You've got music. You've got culture. It's just history, of course. It's just amazing place. I love it. Joe, talk about these tours you're leading now. How did that start?
Well, it was a brainchild of a lady who actually owns, who created, she's the CEO actually, called Next Tribe. And it's for women over the age of 45 and no men allowed. Sorry, guys. And they travel the world. And so they had interviewed me back in 2017, I think, just for an article for Our Tribe magazine, just women doing something different, et cetera, whiskey. And her and I hit it off. Her name is Jeannie Ralston. She's hilarious. She's as quirky and crazy and fun as I am. And so it was like meeting a soul sister. And we kind of talked about going to Scotland together in 2017. And then, of course, life happened, et cetera, et cetera. She went her way. I went my way. We started talking about it again in 2019, COVID. And then finally, in the end of 2022 is when we decided we were going to try to do it. And it took a little bit of finagling because, again, life, I have a full-time job. She has a full-time job. But we finally figured it out. And we started, this year was our first one in 2024. It was a huge success. And so she wants to do it again. At first, she was like, so did you want to do it again? And I went, yeah. She went, oh, thank goodness. So I'll probably, I want to say this will probably be a retirement gig for me, is just start doing it more than once a year.
Fun.
I'm just going to do it once a year for now because I get to retire in 2 years, which is awesome. So I really loved it because it was, not just about whiskey. I because I've been going to Ireland for almost 17 years.
Scotland.
What did I say? Did I say Ireland?
Ireland.
You did.
I blame Dawn. I blame Dawn. She said beautiful Irish.
She did.
I
said it first.
Oh, oops.
Yeah.
How much whiskey have you had with the day drinking?
Nothing. Can we edit that part out? Just back up.
Nope.
Oh, sure.
So,
we'll do that. We'll go backwards in time. We'll figure that out.
We do not have a competent editor.
2007. I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of nature stuff. I'm a foodie. I've visited, I think, close to 85 of the distilleries that are there in the here and now, or the new ones, the old ones. So it wasn't just about whiskey. It was about a little bit about everything. It was about culture. It was about history. It was about nature. It was about meeting local women. We met with Geraldine in Glasgow, Geraldine at the Pot Still. We met with the ladies at the Downs in the Speyside area. We hosted a whole day of just women's events. We met local people. We met Jackie Sutherland. Like, to me, these are the women who, paved the way for the next generation of whiskey women, or people in industry, or people running their own businesses. And so, the feedback I got from the women, there was 12 women, and the women that I had on my tour, I'm sorry, these women are over the age of 45. They are strong. They are well-spoken. They are educated. We had a lady who was an engineer at NASA. We had a woman who was a scuba diver and a SEAL at one point, now retired. Like, we had CEOs. We had every walk of life walking on our trip, and it was just phenomenal. Like, it's probably one of the highlights I would say of any of my Scotland trips was traveling with these 12 women and having these surreal moments where everything would go into slow motion. And our bus driver was Dougie from Glasgow, and I could understand him, but I had to translate for everybody else on the bus because he spoke really heavy Glaswegian, heavy. But it's a blast.
Wow.
I love it. Love it. Love my new gig.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, it really is magical, and that is maybe a good lead in to the movie of the day that we chose in group, Local Hero from 1983. 83. Now, had anyone seen this movie before this watch?
Yes.
Never saw
Yes.
it.
I saw it when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out. I
yeah,
watched it again a couple years ago, and I watched it again now. So
I think the reason I saw it, I was trying to think, why would I have seen this movie? I think it's because Peter Riegert was in Animal House.
That's why I saw it.
I think that's why I saw it. Yeah. And Burt Lancaster too, but I think because of Riegert, in Animal House and all those movies, I think. So you guys had, Dawn and Joe, you didn't know what this was about. You had never heard of it? Or
I was 16 when this came out. I had no idea.
Oh,
what the hell this
okay.
was about.
Well, same thing.
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
We're the same age.
We are.
We're the same age.
Basically,
Wow.
within a few months. Yeah.
basically.
67. It was a great year.
The best
Yes.
year. The best year.
Vietnam and
all that other
Hey.
stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, back, you mean when I was in the shit? Yeah, I was in the shit back then.
Hey.
I was in the
Okay,
right
Ange,
now.
why don't you give us the little rundown?
The lowdown? Okay, so
that you
Local Hero.
that you curated.
Sure. Yeah, curate. I copy and pasted it from IMDb. That's curating.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's your kind of curating.
Yeah, it's like it's like sourced whiskey. That's what this is. So
This is
okay.
Very, very similar.
That's right. So release date, April 29th, 1983. The budget, £3 million sterling, whatever that was back then, whatever it's worth now. Gross box office USA and Canada, 5.9 million. Opening weekend, USA and Canada, $23,600.
Boom. Big hit. Huge hit.
Huge hit.
Ooh.
Gross worldwide, 6 million. The IMDb score, 7.3 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes score, based on 36 critic reviews, 100%.
Yeah.
And Metascore, 84. I'll just give you the tagline and a couple other little fun facts. The taglines: a beautiful coastline, a rich oil man wants to development, a poor beach bum wants to live on it, an entire town wants to profit by it, and a real-life mermaid wants to save it. Only one of them will get their way. Filming locations: Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Dementia. I saw it said the Ben Nevis Distillery in Fort William, Scotland.
Yep.
Banffshire. Is it Banffshire or Banffshire? Would it be Shire?
Sure.
Banffshire, Scotland, and Houston, Texas. And there were a bunch of other ones, but I couldn't pronounce any of them, so I just picked the top 5 or top 6. Directed by Bill Forsyth, a Glaswegian, and written by Bill Forsyth. And
And
the
Bill
cast,
Forsyth.
Glaswegian.
what's
Also a
that?
glass region.
That's right.
Still a Glaswegian.
Yes.
That's right, still a
Still a
Glaswegian. I guess the top 5 people on the cast: Burt Lancaster as Felix Happer, Peter Riegert as MacIntyre, aka Mac, who is not Scottish. We'll get to that. Fulton Mackay. Is it Mackay or Mackay? Would it be Mackay?
Depends.
Mackay?
Depends.
Depends. Okay.
McKay,
we'll go
is
with,
it spelled MCKAY?
yes. So is it Mackay?
Okay, Mackay. Could be probably
Whatever.
Mackay.
Mackay. Fulton Mackay as Ben Knox. Dennis Lawson as Gordon Urquhart. Norman Chancellor as Moritz. And the great Peter Capaldi as Olson. So, and there's more people.
But at
we'll
the
get to them.
time, not the great Peter Capaldi. This is
No,
one of his
young,
first things.
young,
It's a
youthful
young
Peter Capaldi.
Very young Peter Capaldi. Yeah.
A
Youth-
soon-to-be great Peter Capaldi.
Youthful
Yeah.
and spry Peter Capaldi.
So, to our guests, you hadn't seen this before. You didn't know anything about it. What was your biggest surprise about this movie?
It's a good question.
What just like whoa or wow?
Or
I think it was just like maybe
Or,
the
ugh.
small little points of humor that actually were not kind of in your face humor, not kind of taglines, but just
Very
a little
subtle.
image or a word or like something that's happening in the background. I
That
it was
felt
quite
like Scotland to
cleverly
me.
done in that respect. I think that's
That-
kind of when I was watching it.
That felt like Scotland to me. That little subtleness to the humor. It was very
Yeah.
understated. Yeah. Joe?
I cackled at all the little hidden gems that, you know, I watched it with my best friend, and unfortunately he just sat there totally like didn't understand what was going on, and all of a sudden I would just cackle at, you know, the web feet or the baby that belonged to
The web
nobody,
feet.
or the motorcycle that would just, you know, everywhere.
Zoom.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, like all of a sudden, you know, and Peter Capaldi, the way he ran, and like everything about it was just, and I would just cackle, right? And he would just kind of look at me like, that's not even funny. And I said, oh my
Don't
God,
forget
this
the
is
Russian.
so precious.
Oh, the Russian, yeah.
The Russian.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. I
There
just love the whole thing.
this movie has so many layers to it, right? The casting is just incredible. The story is quaint. And there's these bigger topics of, you know, the environment, big companies coming in to take over little places. And this, it just has this really beautiful look at this small island, small area of Scotland, wherever it is. You know what doesn't get spoken about is those jets enough.
Yeah.
And I say that the reason I thought about those jets is because Glen Murray is up near Lassie Mouth, right? And there's that Royal Air Force Base up there, and I cannot remember the names of those jets. Those, what are they called? They're called hurricane jets. I think they're called hurricanes.
Hurricane.
And they're flying.
Maybe.
Is it her? Is I?
There is a
maybe you're right.
hurricane jet. Yeah.
I think they are flying over these thousands and thousands-year-old ruins of castles. It is the weirdest sight to be looking at this ancient artifact, and there's this massive, large, fast, loud jet flying over your head. It's modern versus ancient, all deafening you and around you, and they show that. That's beautiful.
But I quite liked when, I think it was one comment, he goes, well, if they're flying overhead and they're practicing, that means they're not bombing someone else or something like that. It was
That's right.
Yeah.
it was quite a nice little aside.
I believe they are the first defense against the bad guys, i.e., the Russians, for a lot of Europe. I think the thing is, the one thing that threw me rewatching this, because I don't remember what I thought about it back in '83, is Peter Capaldi. I actually kind of forgot he was in it, and it took me a half a second to remember that he was in it. And wait, is that him? That's weird. That's Peter Capaldi. And had just finished watching that show on Apple. What was that show, Ange?
I can't remember.
It's in London, right?
I'll find it. You just keep talking.
Yeah, he's a cop, and he's white hair. He's, you know, I don't know how old
he's
he is now.
Craggly and just
craggly, and he's
Isn't
an old
he an alcoholic
Spitfire.
in it? Like, seems to me he's like
I think so too. That's the same
More
guy.
of a drug addict, criminal record.
He's probably like
that's right, criminal
he's
record.
probably, was he like 20 something in this movie? Maybe
Probably.
ish.
Yeah.
And he looks
Probably.
young.
Yeah.
And this is before he's the doctor, and Doctor Who and all that stuff.
Doctor Who and
everything else. So
and he doesn't even. He's not even the. He's just one of the guys in the movie. He's not the lead.
Yeah, and he's not spouting expletives like he did in what was that one movie he did? It was the political one. I can't think of it right now. With James Gandolfini, and it was by the same guy that did like Veep, or I can't think of it. But anyway, I'll find it. Go ahead. The Thick of It. The Thick of It. That was the show. I think there was another sort of similar thing. But anyway, go ahead.
So this movie, you said Bill Forsyth, right?
Yes.
He's the Glaswegian guy. So this movie almost doesn't get made, except he had just come off of directing Chariots of Fire and winning an Academy Award.
Who?
And
Bill Forsyth?
Bill Forsyth, yeah. And I believe. And the studio didn't want to, they financed him for so much, right? And then they get Burt Lancaster. Well, Burt Lancaster wants like $2 million or some crazy amount of money, which is like blows away the budget. But it's Burt Lancaster. So the studio says, okay, we'll kick in for Burt Lancaster, which is pretty amazing. I don't know who they thought of besides Burt Lancaster, but and he's perfect. He's at the end of his career, kind of ish, and he's great as this old person looking at his past and how he's connected to Scotland and the stars. There's a whole part of the sky that's amazing, and it's
can
really.
We back up about one thing?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Was I wrong about that?
I don't think he's in. He has nothing to do with Chariots of Fire.
Wait. Maybe I had the wrong movie.
I think you did.
He directed. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. He was. Gregory's Girl.
It's the producer of the movie, not him.
The producer. That's right. The producer of the movie was of Chariots of Fire. Right.
David Putnam.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Now we got it straight.
So, the Forsyth did this Gregory's Girl also, which was a small movie as well, but then this movie comes out and it's won all these awards, right? BAFTA screenplay and I think he got I think he might have won a BAFTA director, right? Yeah.
Right.
So, it's got this weird what I think Roger Ebert gives it 5 stars or something, or 4 stars for it. It has a really great long-term review of it, right? It still has a lasting value. It hasn't kind of diminished over time. It's actually seemed to increase in value over time. Thoughts on any parts of the movies, guys?
What I thought was interesting was that the Peter Riegert role was going to go to Michael Douglas or Henry Winkler.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Which that's a whole different sort of movie if either of them are playing the role. One's a little intense and one's the Fonz, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And I think Riegert's an interesting character, his choice, because coming off of Animal House, he's I think he did a few other kind of those kinds of movies in there. And this is okay, we're going to get serious about my career. I'm not going to do these drunken college movies. And he's now this guy who's earning his way through this petroleum company in Houston. And he's, it's all about making money and doing the deal and getting through it all. And I don't know that I could have seen it. He's really good at that. And I think Michael Douglas would have been good. I think at that time, you have to think of Michael Douglas in 1983.
Yeah, that's true. He was
a little more intense, maybe.
Something a bit harder about Michael Douglas. You needed that slightly lost puppy kind of thing.
He was a lost puppy. Yeah.
And you saw him he's just trying to find people to go out with.
And he's got the scallop shell. And
he's kind of lonely.
Yeah.
He's got the fancy car. He's got the nice apartment in Houston, and he's trying to make connections and trying to hook up with a couple ladies, and things just aren't working out for him. And then he just
the girl in the office won't go out with him for his last night.
They won't even talk to him face to face. They all talk to him over the phone.
I know.
On those big freaking answering machines.
I'm more of a telex guy.
I'm more of a telex guy.
I'm a telex guy.
I don't know about this face to face thing.
The telex.
I'm a telex guy.
I had to explain what that meant. He was like, my friend Chris was like, "What's a telex?" I was like, "Oh God."
I mean, that basically a fax, or is it just a wire service?
It was it was pre-fax, and it was a
pre-fax.
It was through your phone lines.
And
it was sort of like Western Union.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing with the fax, with a lot of stuff, places will not take something unless it's a fax
anymore. Really?
Because it's secure end to end. It's all analog. There's no It can't really get intercepted.
A real fax.
Yeah, a real fax machine. Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought that
nowadays
was fascinating. What's that?
When was the last time anyone used a fax?
I had to do it for some paperwork. I had to use a fax.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was with a bank. They needed it.
Now the faxes now are through your
cybersecurity. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very.
Can't hack a fax.
A lot less.
Can't hack a fax. Oh.
Can't hack it. You know what? There you go. That's your marketing point. You could bring it all back.
No, there's no marketing to faxes. That's like bringing back 8-track. There's no marketing there.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Aaron's probably got some
There's-
8-tracks.
I do not have 8 tracks. Had 8 tracks, but no longer 8 tracks.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress. I'm sorry.
We digress.
Surprisingly, we've digressed.
Why don't we, while we digress, why don't we pour another round here and remind everyone that this is a very special live stream. We are what we watch when we drink. We have special guests Johanne McInnis, Don Davis from Canada and London, respectively. We are going through the movie.
London, UK, not Ontario.
Right.
I'm sorry. Thank you
That's
for
right.
correcting me. Oh, that is very good to
That's
clarify that. We are going through the movie Local Hero from 1983, and we are talking about Scotland, where this movie is set. Okay, we started with Johanne last time. Don, what do you got to pour there? You have another cocktail?
This
Beverage?
is one of my new babies.
Ooh,
This
pretty.
is a TWE exclusive, a Whisky Exchange exclusive. And I came up with this idea of doing whiskies for each season. So this is our summer season. We're about to release our autumn season in October. And all of them sort of reflected the flavors of the season. And this one is a 26-year-old Ardnamurchan, bottled in 1997 at 50.3%. And it's got this lovely sort of barbecue, smoky pineapple thing going on.
Oh, stop it. Stop
Delicious.
No.
Joe, what you
Yes.
got? And it's
Well-
not a contest,
No,
not a competition.
Yes, it is.
listen.
Yes, it is.
Well, it could be.
No.
It
Yes,
could
it
be.
is.
This is me being me. Like, what
Oh,
I
God, then
really,
it's a blood sport. Weren't you
What
a
I-
lacrosse player, Joe?
Where you're,
Did you play
Yes,
lacrosse?
I
your,
was.
armor.
That's
I
right.
was a
See, look
lacrosse
out.
player.
He's going to cross check you. Look out.
Anyways, I'm just
Although
saying.
I could see Dawn playing field hockey. Those sticks are
I
pretty.
played rugby
Those
and
are
field
Oh,
nasty.
hockey.
rugby.
There you
Even
go.
better.
Hurling.
See?
Little
Steel
hurling.
cage, baby.
Alright.
Steel cage. All right.
Ooh.
It's the Ocho.
It's the oh my.
Or in
What
the
was the
octagon.
question? I'm sorry, I'm totally distracted.
Oh,
What do you?
drinking?
What am I drinking? Oh yeah. So one of the things that I thought was hilarious in the movie, and you can all tell me what you think about it, but when Gordon Urquhart pulled out the 42-year-old Scotch, did you notice
Yeah.
that the bottle kept getting like it wasn't getting any lower every time he poured? It was always like
No, I didn't see
okay.
Did you know? Do you know it was a screw top also?
Ta-da! Screw top.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I was like,
Awesome.
screw this. I am like opening something that's got a screw top. And what I decided on was it's Dewar's Portuguese Smooth. And the reason I really like it, as you can see, is I make a lot of great cocktails with it. So, but it was the screw top that did it for me. And of course, like I said, you want some 42-year-old whiskey, and the bottle never got empty, and the bottle never changed. So I thought, wow, that's some really interesting 42-year-old whiskey. So slammed it.
It's the Glen McKenna.
Fun.
Yeah.
that's a good one. Angela, what you got?
All right. Well, we've got a Glenmorangie, A Tale of Tokyo, which is
Ooh.
Mizunara bourbon and sherry cask at 46% ABV. And I guess you could say this is in honor of a man with another outrageous Scottish accent, the great Bill Lumsden.
Love
That's
Dr.
pretty outrageous.
Bill.
He's
Doctor
And
very
Tail of
outrageous.
Ice Cream has literally just launched. Tail of Ice Cream
Oh,
just
that's
came out
got to be
as well.
that's got to be tremendous.
It
How
tried
is
to
it?
come out last week, and then it's coming out again later.
Is it
next week.
delicious? Is it delicious?
I haven't tried it yet. It'll be a vanilla bomb knowing Dr. Bill.
Okay. Nothing wrong
Wow.
with
Good one.
He's working on the
Michael?
Tale of Cleveland, right? Is that what you're saying?
Tale of Cleveland. The Tale of Cleveland.
We were told it was something with a C. I'm guessing it was Cleveland.
Finished in a trash
An
can.
old rubber tire that was
An
already
old
on
rubber
the fire.
tire.
Oil.
Yes.
They got
Oil
a
drum.
oil drum. Yes, oil drum
Oil drum,
from Toledo, from
Yes.
the Sun Oil Refinery.
On the
Yes.
mud hens. Yeah.
Yes, and
The
you might
mud
catch
hens.
fire like the what's that river? The
The
Cuyahoga,
Cayuga.
No, the
Cayuga?
Cuyahoga.
Yeah.
Cuyahoga. Yeah.
the burning
Yes.
river. Yes,
What do you got,
John,
Mike?
I'm wondering what we got ourselves into here. Seriously.
I'm
Oh my
kind
God.
of-
you knew what
I
you were
knew
getting
they-
yourselves into,
they
which is
go
why you're
on
here.
time. This
I
is a
have
very
the,
random.
the Offerman cask.
Ooh,
Which
the
one?
Alpen.
Offerman.
It's
that
the
the
first
toasted?
one.
Oh, the
First
first
one.
First
Ooh,
edition.
very nice.
So it's the
Ah.
Chardo
I
cask.
have-
11 years comes in at 46%.
Yum.
I have the Bruichladdich Valanche, the Lynn McEwen, number 32, Lynn McEwen, Jim's wife, I think, right? Wife, right? Lynn is his wife or daughter? Daughter.
Maybe?
Lynn was
Daughter?
a daughter, I
Oh
think.
no.
Yeah. This was
Check
a 10-year-old in a. Now, are there any wine people on this podcast?
Yeah,
I believe there's a wine person. At
we
least,
may have
yeah.
a sommelier in the
Might
house.
be.
We might have
might
one.
be.
Yes.
Wait.
This is in a. Oh, there we go. Because the glasses went down. That's the true sign. This is in a. I don't even know how to say this. Rivesaltes.
Rivesaltes.
I was gonna say
So
that.
Rivesaltes is a vin du natural. So it's a sweet wine that's been fortified from Southwest France. Really lovely, delicious red fruit character with this lovely nuttiness coming in behind. It's great. Rivesaltes is fabulous.
Yes. So this is 64.4 on the Richter scale.
Is that all you got?
So cheers to all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Scotland.
Wait, but before we go, let me just ask Dawn a
Yeah,
question. Did they use that cask for much of anything for Scotch? Did they finish that? Is that an unusual cask to finish in?
Rivesaltes. Yeah. So a couple of people have been playing around with Rivesaltes, but we're seeing more vin du naturals coming now, but a lot of people are port, sherry, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, more people are starting to play with things like Rivesaltes. So I think someone else did a Rivesaltes cast not so long ago. I can't remember who.
It's more because of the availability of different kinds of casks where they've kind of played out some of the brands, some of the different types.
Because you can't get them, or just
Because you just can't find them, or they're
done
too
so much.
expensive, so they're finding something new.
Marketing hasn't told them that they're sexy yet. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's normally why people use wines
There you
that
go.
finish
Makes sense
things.
to me.
Someone in marketing has said, yeah, it's sexy to use an orange wine, and they don't realize it's the wrong type of orange.
If someone put it in a pretty bottle, though, I would still buy it. I'm good.
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
I'm good.
That's you.
Who invited Mike? Honestly, I
hey,
say that
probably.
every time. I swear to God.
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
Hey, we got to
Somehow
balance
he
out the
gets-
group. There's some people that are A's and some people, well, they're not so much.
They're not so ace. Let's get back to Scotland a bit. Favorite place you've ever been to in Scotland?
Mm.
Well, I want to say favorite distillery, but that's maybe not fair. But maybe favorite area, favorite town.
I mean,
Favorite
Skye is
island?
beautiful. Skye is stunning.
Not yeah.
Skye is, when it doesn't rain and there's no midges, it's fabulous.
Oh.
I love Edinburgh, maybe because I spent 5 years of my life there, and I just love Edinburgh. It's such a great city. But yeah, it's a tough one.
Joe.
My brain basically went into reverse when you asked me that, because after going for so many years, I mean, I haven't explored every inch of Scotland yet. But what strangely enough, what popped into my brain, like I was like, where, my ancestors are from the Isle of Skye area. So that's the DNA part of me that's like absolutely beyond magical. But my brain literally said the town of Crieff, which I think I'm saying right. Crief.
Where's that?
I don't even remember
that?
being there, but that's what my brain said. Crieff. So I'm like, what the hell's in Crieff? I don't remember what's in Crieff.
Good
so I'm
Crieff.
like, la, 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 la.
Good grief.
Good
I
grief.
firmly believe we stayed. It was in 2007 with my in-laws, and we stayed at in an inn that had a pub below us, and it had the best sticky toffee pudding I've ever had in Scotland. I remember
Ooh,
that for
sticky toffee pudding.
sure. But it's also the evening that we went down to the pub because there was music playing. And my mother-in-law, someone approached my mother-in-law, looked at her, said, good evening. then looked at her husband and said, "Would you mind if I bought your daughter a drink?"
Hey now. Wow.
Yeah. And so she was just, whoa, right? And he was not so much, but we had a blast. We danced and we sang and we were treated like locals. And I think that's probably, where that magical door kind of burst open for me that very first time. But ask me where Crieff is. I have no idea. I just know that's what my brain
Let's
went.
see. Where is Crieff? So, okay. So the interwebs asks, is Crieff worth visiting? A firm favorite with food lovers and outdoor enthusiasts. Crieff is a traditional Scots market town set amidst Perthshire's stunning scenery. The attractive and bustling town center supports a wide range of family-run businesses, offering the best of food and drink, clothing, gifts, crafts, and arts.
There you go.
So I'd say that's a yes. There you go.
But where? Like, is it in what part of Scotland is it in?
We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, we'll get there. So if I look on the map, where's the map?
Sure, like sure. I'm sure.
So it is west of Perth.
Sure.
West of what?
West of Perth. I don't know.
Perth, yeah. So
and it's like northeast of Glasgow. And it's like
so going towards.
Yeah, so northwest of Edinburgh.
Okay.
Got it.
So
that's Highlands-ish?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
Lowland?
It's Lowlands?
Yeah,
Lowlands?
I guess.
Should be ish Lowland. I mean, Highland and Lowlands are such nebulous terms.
It's about dead center between where, let's say, Dundee on the east coast and the other coast. Crieff is almost like in the middle on that same latitude.
So I would say it's inland. Like, it's not on a coast. It's not.
Right.
It's like somewhere in the middle of nowhere is what I kind of felt.
Yeah.
My brain is registering. So.
Yes.
But again, like that's probably I don't even know why my brain just all of a sudden blurted out.
So
Crieff.
the triangle will be Glasgow, Crieff, Edinburgh. They're almost like practically in a triangle.
There you go.
So probably Lowlands if you're going to designate it. I'm guessing.
I have these memories of.
Let's just call it Crieff.
We're not about little. I have these memories of little places, like your Crieff story, of just little places, little shops, little cafes. I'm not even sure where they were, but they're embedded in my brain. I just that's the kind of place this is. You guys have been going there for years, Dawn, since college. Have you and still going? What changes have you seen? Have the changes you've seen in Scotland, are they just reflective of change in the world, of the way the rest of the world changes? Or has it been slower or different that in Scotland? Changes to tourism, changes to, I don't know. Are the roads fixed finally? Probably not.
No roads are fixed anywhere in this country.
No roads are, I know. No, that's so true. I had a flat tire. I know. I had a flat tire in Port Charlotte, so I know about that. So, what do you guys see about the changes to the country, if any, in the last 20 years?
Tourism has become more sort of prominent. I think whiskey has definitely become more of a focus of what the country does, and there's a lot of pride in it. Yes, there's modernization. I mean, what struck me this time was the amount of warehousing going up for whiskey. I mean, it was insane. There was warehousing being built everywhere. But I think Scotland still, when you go into the small villages and everything like that, actually, like the rest of the UK, these small villages take a long time to change. And the changes are due to economics. So it's things like the local pubs closing. It's things like the post offices closing, because we're so online and everything's done so kind of online. And that's where the sadness comes. I think a lot of the breweries are shutting down now because it's over here, it's quite challenging at the moment, especially with duty increases and things like that. And I think it's like the fear of losing those insanely beautiful places. And it is those cafes, those small mom and pop shops, that kind of the fear of losing that and fear of losing the heart of the village, which is not as evident when you're in the big cities. I mean, even Edinburgh, every time I go to Edinburgh, Glasgow, I like London, it's something else is being built and it's crazy. But yeah, I think it's that sort of, it's holding on to tradition but trying to move forward at the same time. It's that real kind of tension between two worlds that's probably the most evident for me now.
Joe, what have you seen going for whatever 17 years or so?
I'd have to agree because I hadn't been since pre-COVID. And so Glasgow, I found, had really changed quite a bit since the last time I had been. I mean, it still has its, what I call the touristy areas or whatever. And, the Potstill's the Potstill, the Bonacord's the Bonacord. But outside of that, there was a lot of new construction. There was a lot of really big things happening in Glasgow. Edinburgh, I only spent like 24 hours in Edinburgh, so I didn't really feel like much had changed from that perspective. It still looked like, but I was only in Old Edinburgh, so to me, it still looked like Old Edinburgh. Oban looked exactly the same as the way I left it in 2019. I think I might have said, "Don't change anything. I'll be back," whatever. But same thing. Perth was the highway between Perth and Edinburgh was still as congested as always. So it was just like, it felt like home, but with a couple of new faces, new facades, same areas. I felt at home. I felt like I hadn't really missed anything other than maybe, a couple of new shops here or there, or like I say, but Glasgow was, like I say, a lot of construction. Felt like a lot of Glasgow, a lot of, wow, when did this pop up type of thing. Right?
I mean, is it the kind of thing like, like a lot of cities in the US where they're like, old industrial town, and now they're becoming, for lack of a better word, the Brooklynization of, Glasgow.
Right. That's what it felt like to me. It was much more modern. It looked it looked less, because I'm from a blue collar town, right? And so Glasgow, to me, you'd have to know New Brunswick. New Brunswick has two, what I'll call big cities. We have the white collar town, which is Fredericton, and we have a blue collar town, which is St. John, which is much more industrial. So it's easy for me to say I feel close to the people in Glasgow because that's what I'm used to here in my hometown. Whereas Fredericton, which is like the capital and much more white collar, it reminds me a lot of Edinburgh. So it's that kind of feel to it. And I found Edinburgh was still blue collar, but it just had a new, more modern look to it in certain areas, which was kind of cool.
So Glasgow is Philly and Edinburgh is New York.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good
analogy, but on a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
Much smaller.
I mean, to be fair, Glasgow and Edinburgh are like two warring factions. It's like
Philly and New York. Yeah, exactly.
Edinburgh's full of constant people and foreigners because all the universities are there, and then Glasgow's the cool, hip, kind of more kind of vibey city. And it still very much is like that.
Okay. Same.
When we were in Edinburgh, we were warned to go to Glasgow because of the Glaswegians, that they're apparently bad people.
No, they're
not saying they are. Just saying Edinburgh told us we shouldn't go there.
They're the Neapolitans of Scotland.
Exactly.
They are the
Scottish Napoleons.
I was there.
Go with a knife?
I think maybe they're Turks. Yes.
I was there about 6 years apart, and like 2014, I believe, or 2013, 2014, and then in 2019, I believe, right before the pandemic. And I was surprised how much there wasn't change. It was hard to get internet service. It was hard to get Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi was still bad and the roads were still bad. And I'm guessing that'll never get fixed. And I actually liked that quaintness of it, right? Yeah, that it didn't just jump in like being in Brooklyn. But you're right, in the big cities, there is a little more, modernity, I guess, going on. And that's okay. But as you got away from that, Isla and wherever, in the north, the small towns are the small towns. The farms are still the farms. And the smaller towns, there was like that little area, that one road, that one street, like every little town in America has, that has got a little bit hipstery. There's a cool restaurant and there's a cool bar. And it was okay. That's okay. It feels like it's a cafe. Yeah. There's a coffee place. Yeah, it felt like there's change. There was change, but it wasn't like dramatic. But probably more so in the big cities. I like
it's
that.
slow. It's slow, and I
Very
think
slow.
actually the one thing you're now seeing is the distilleries popping up. I mean, Islay has like 3 new distilleries. That's
Right.
It's just crazy. Even Edinburgh now.
Well-
I mean, I went to Leith to visit Leith Distillery, which has just come online, which is the vertical distillery, and like just so many new ones popping up left, right, and center. It's pretty crazy.
It's funny you said you saw all the warehousing being built for distilleries, which totally makes sense, right? If you're in Kentucky, you see that too. But the other thing that we have, and I'm sure you have it too, and I'm sure Scotland has it to some extent, is we have warehouses going up all over America. But it's not for distilleries, except in Kentucky. It's for Amazon, right? It's for those huge companies that are Costco's and whatever, that are just, that's the warehouse space getting built here, of course, not for whiskey. In fact, here's a funny story. Speaking of Costco, I assume you have Costco in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Right? A Costco is being built here in Los Angeles. It just got announced over the weekend. And because housing is such a shortage in America, especially in Los Angeles, this Costco is going to have 800 units of apartments built on top of it. Which actually doesn't. You can live over. You will be able to live over at Costco. Which actually, you think about all the space. We always start thinking about finding land to build houses. Why don't we build up? There's already buildings. Again, well, you can't really retrofit a lot of buildings, but new buildings you could. So it sort of makes sense. And if I would love to live on top of a warehouse distillery.
The angels share.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they can come to my apartment.
If you could somehow capture that inside your house.
Yes, it could power your internet, maybe. Somehow.
No, I'm thinking you could bottle it, not power anything. I just want to bottle it.
That's right.
He didn't see the quotation marks, Mike. I got you. Quotations.
I saw it.
I would be constantly, living above a Costco. Maybe I don't know. I'd be constantly. I don't know. I think
it
that's
could get
bizarre.
expensive.
I can't even.
Yes.
Well,
think not just Costco, but any warehouse. But some of these warehouses that we have here, probably just like the warehouses for distillery warehousing, they're huge, right?
yeah.
And here, space is such a premium. Put something on top of it. It actually kind of makes sense, whether it's a retail establishment or anything else.
But here's the question: would they do a little would there be a Costco convenience store? Because the whole point of Costco is you buy in bulk, you store it. When you're living in an apartment,
right,
which is a much smaller space,
Exactly.
I don't know.
So where am I going to put my 14 rolls of Bounty and my 37 rolls of Kirkland brand toilet paper?
Yeah, maybe they'll have.
Maybe they've got like a little
2,000 feet of dental floss.
Yeah,
Costco is
upstairs.
Costco is. I don't know what the equivalent of Costco is in other countries. It is just an amazing
Costco
retailer.
Costco,
yeah. It's
anyway,
amazing.
I have never been inside a Costco, and my number 2 loves Costco, and he was like, we're going to Costco today, and I was like, I'm not going to Costco. No. See, I'm very particular. I buy my fish from my fishmonger. I buy my meat from my butcher. I buy my veg from.
That's why you live in London. That's what you do. Yes.
Costco, you know about the United States. We have all these different rules in every state. Not every state you can buy alcohol in Costco. California, you can. It's amazing. I mean, you follow some accounts on Instagram, whiskey accounts, and it's which Costco has what that somehow they've gotten. It's it used to be you could if you saw Lagavulin 16 in a Costco, that was like a big deal. Now they've got all kinds of interesting things depending on where you are in the state. And the Kirkland brand is like this whole separate universe where they actually. I just finished a bottle of their Islay, a single malt Kirkland brand. I'm guessing it's Kalila. It was really good, and it was $39. It was you can't beat it. It was very, very good. And they have the power to go whether to wineries or distilleries or I don't know about breweries, but the power to get what they want. And in pricing
Which
as
is a
well.
shame.
So
because it's only everyone loses at the end of the day that's making it.
That's
I'm
right.
like
Yeah,
getting on
the
my high horse now.
Walmartization.
That's it.
Yeah.
Death to the
Get on that
supermarket.
Starbucks, John. Do it. Come on. Do it. I hate Costco.
In the great state of New
Oh,
Jersey,
sorry.
you're only allowed 2 licenses. So Costco can have 2 licenses, and Walmart gets 2
Right.
licenses, and whoever else gets 2 licenses
For the whole state.
So you're through the whole state. So
Yeah,
you
Denver's
can't
a
have
push.
that here. You don't get that, monopolization of power, and these are the brands we're going to sell. And if you don't like these brands, we don't care, because these are the brands
Yeah.
we've got to deal with, and this is what we're going to
Yeah.
sell.
Yeah. Controlled state, sir, are a whole different story. Okay,
This is my
let's
analogy with
zip
Costco,
back.
though.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No,
you
you
go.
go.
I'm with
We're talking
Don.
Costco.
Like I live in a small town, right? Well, I live in a small town. To me, it's a small town.
It's Canada. The whole thing's a
it's
small
city.
town.
No,
It's one big small town.
Once again, I must apologize for my comments about Canada.
My pick on Johanne week is October 17th. You missed it. It's like you got it.
Oh, we missed it.
No, we didn't miss it yet. It's
It was
coming
last
up.
year. It was
It's coming
last
up.
year.
It's a
last
pre-gaming.
It was last year. Okay. So this is how I feel about that. As Dawn was saying, when I go to my fishmonger, who I've been going to for over 30 years now, when I walk in there and I say, they know me. They're like, oh, this is fresh. I got this today. I ordered
Crazy
you
lady.
the blah, blah, blah. That's right. Whiskey Lassie. And then I go, thank you. And I get my order. And then all of a sudden I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Sean. I forgot my wallet. He goes, no worries. I'll get you next time. I guarantee
Costco does that
will
too.
never had happened in the
Never.
lifetime of Costco ever.
Security, take her down.
That's right. I'd be like shackled and I'd be face down in
That'd
the
be
fish
it. Out the
area,
door.
out the
Angela,
door.
what happens if
No
you don't
more.
pay Ippolito's?
Oh, wow. Shovels.
That's a whole different
Shovels and
story.
lime.
We,
Shovels and
we
lime.
have a different sort of arrangement with our fishmongers
You
here.
might lose a digit.
I forgot my wallet.
You might,
Well,
No
might lose
money.
a digit.
Wham. Wham.
Oh, I love it.
Yep. They start with the pinky and they work their way to the thumb.
we have our fishmonger is Ippolito's, and their trucks say Samuel's because
Ippolito's.
it sounds less offensive.
Absolutely.
what is Samuel going to do? He's not going to do
offensive,
anything.
Less sketchy.
But
Less sketchy.
Less
Ippolito,
sketchy.
Ippolito wants to be paid.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah. That sounds so right there.
A reminder,
No,
this
no.
is What We Watch When We Drink. It's a live stream. We are 2 special guests, Don Davies from London, the UK, and Johanne McInnis from New Brunswick. We are talking whiskey. We're talking Scotland. We're talking Costco. We're talking, what else we're talking? We're talking about local
Fishmongers.
fishmongers and fishmongers.
And we're trashing and they're trashing Costco.
Mm.
Right. And local hero. We like to always look at these movies, these shows, and we like looking at the casting and where these folks were, where they went to, where they were before. This is usually Mike's bailiwick. Mike, you have a couple casting notes about our group here. From this movie.
This is early Peter Riegert, where he's coming off of a group film like Animal House, and after this he does Crossing to Lansing, which is a really good movie.
Oh, right, that was a good movie.
And,
yeah,
and this is more or less a Burt Lancaster Last Hurrah. He does this, then he does Tough Guys with Kirk Douglas, and then he's in Field of Dreams. But he's not in much because he's 70 years old here. He's not going to make a whole lot of movies because, well, he's 70 years old. He's not rushing out to make one. And as we mentioned before, this is Peter Capaldi at the Genesis. This is the beginning of his career. He then becomes the 12th Doctor, which really is the highlight. Everything after that, who cares? He's the 12th Doctor. All that matters is
so what does he do between he's Glaswegian, correct? I believe. What does he do between this movie and the Doctor? There's still a fair amount of time, right, between the two?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on with his career.
So
and a lot of it's, he moves into television. He makes a bunch of movies. He's in a bunch of things that are probably only released over there in the UK. And he's just been in a bunch of movies and TV shows. And I think he's in the Vicar of Dibley for a couple episodes. I mean, why not? He's Peter Capaldi. Just show up. And what amazes me is he comes back at the end, not at the end of his career, but recently, he's now in Criminal Record, which I thought was really good. Where now he's no longer the young guy with an upward trajectory. He's now the put upon DCI executive, who's now it's the what do we got to do now? This is just and he's great. He's been great the whole time.
Oh, the movie I couldn't remember that he was in with James Gandolfini and a few others is In the Loop.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's spectacular in it. Yeah. He's just really good. Really good.
Any other names in here, Mike, that caught your fancy? Dennis Lawson,
who
plays
too many different people.
They all look so familiar, right? He plays the Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Are you guys sitting down?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yes. Okay, checking. Dennis Stamper Lawson, Scottish actor, born in 1947. He was born in Glasgow. Are you sitting down? But grew up in Crieff for the shirt.
Oh no!
Is that amazing?
Inconceivable.
Look
at that.
Inconceivable. That is crazy.
I literally have goosebumps. I swear to God.
And he's been in the very small production many times called Star Wars.
Yes, I've heard of it. Yes.
Star Wars. Maybe
Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. He was in The Rise of the Skywalker.
Plays Wedge Antilles in Star Wars.
Yeah. He's one of the pilots. He's one of the
he played one of the young pilots and then one of the, I guess, more seasoned veterans later on.
Seasoned veteran, correct. Yes. Yeah. So he has an interesting career as well. Who else is in this? The ladies, there's Jennifer Black, that's Stella, who Peter Riegert falls in love with. She was kind of odd career. You don't see a whole much about her. She was in some Taggart, which Taggart was a pretty long running, wasn't it a long running police drama? Yep. She was in that. And what was the other lady's name? Her name was is that Jenny Seagrove and Marina, the webbed foot
Marina.
Woman.
Marina.
She's a mermaid.
Yep. She was in One with Substance. She was in The Guardian. That's a William Friedkin horror movie. A few things, small, nothing big, nothing massive like Star Wars. I'm fascinated by the fact we always like the music side of things. Mike likes the casting. The music, the soundtrack was done by Mark Knopfler.
Say it. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
You want some fun facts? You want some fun facts about the music?
Sure.
So this is the first film he scored. He provided not only the main score, mostly consisting of classical guitar, but filled the fast-fingered country guitar licks during the Knox radio station announcements while Mac is driving the film's opening. The film soundtrack, scored by Dire Straits' Mark Knopfler, sold better than the movie itself, and it helped Knopfler, with his whole film composing thing. From there, he went on to do some movie Cal. He did The Princess Bride, and he did Wag the Dog.
Nice.
And he scored a BAFTA nomination for the best film music.
And Aaron, remember you had asked me about you were looking at musicians when they were playing in the Cayley? So the piano player in the Cayley band is Alan Clark, who was a former member of Dire Straits. So there was a musician from a big band. We just didn't know who he was.
Cool.
Remember there was that time where there was, you get these rock stars kind of jumping into making soundtracks. I'm not sure that's so much anymore. Occasionally, but the Mark Knopfler is a big name in '83, Mike.
Yep.
MTV.
He got his money for nothing.
And he got his money for nothing?
Money for nothing.
Totally. Yeah.
Princess Bride is
working.
one of my favorite
That's the way to do
of all time.
Yes. It's great. It's great.
There's one other character he plays the Cal, and he is a very young John Jackson, who then goes on to be in the show Jag, playing Admiral Chidwigan for almost 200 episodes.
Wow.
And then comes back and he's in NCIS Los Angeles. So
Cool.
It's kind of funny when you see a guy and you go, I kind of recognize that guy from somewhere, and you go, oh wait, that guy had a much bigger career outside of this movie.
I don't remember who Watt was in the movie. Alex Norton plays him, Scottish actor, known for his roles as DCI Matt Burke in Taggart also. So these guys all went on to other things.
Yep.
Most definitely. John Gordon Sinclair plays Ricky. He was in Gregory's Girl. Christopher Asante was in a situation comedy called Desmond. That's, I believe, the Reverend. And Fulton McKay, the man on the beach, his most famous, claim to fame was a 1970s sitcom called Porridge. That's
a very classic British comedy.
There you go. Yeah. Interesting cast. Nothing. I mean, of course, the big names are the big names. The big name, Burt Lancaster, and this huge name doing the soundtrack. I'm glad that the thing still holds up. I'm really happy that I wasn't bored by it, and it'd be nice to see like a little high definition version of it. It looked a little grainy, but I like to see Scotland a little less grainy. But it was
re-release.
A re-release.
To be fair, it was never sunny during the whole movie, so maybe that was just Scotland.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny though, because I saw this when it came out. Probably like a year or two later on videotape on VHS.
Yeah.
Then I watched it a couple years ago because I think we were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see it again." So they released a Criterion Collection version. I don't know if you're familiar with Criterion Collection, but they did a version of it, and I got the 2-week free trial of Criterion Collection just to watch it. And I watched it, and I was like, did I really like this movie as much? I wasn't like, maybe I was just, I was really excited to see it, and then I was kind of disappointed. But then I watched it on Thursday night, and I was just sucked in immediately and enjoyed it again. So maybe it was good that I tempered my expectations a little bit, and I could just enjoy the movie for what it was, which is, charming as hell all the way through, from beginning to end.
It's
just
sweet.
Quirky and charming and fun. And I think my favorite scenes are probably I really like the whole thing with the Kaylee. And that was just fantastic, just the way it was done. It was just, subtle, just walking around, seeing what everybody's up to. And apparently Peter Riegert really got drunk at the Kaylee. So when he's on the phone calling about the Northern Lights, he was legitimately drunk when he was doing that. And what I also like is the scene with Peter Capaldi and Marina, where he's talking Japanese.
Oh,
and it was just so peculiar. It was really, really funny. So
I like the little man painting the boat.
Yeah.
The name changed every time.
The name changes. Yep. Yes.
Same boat.
So funny.
Same boat, different name. Are you sure dollar has 2 L's?
I remember being at Port Charlotte at Bricklottie and walking out from the main gates, I think, and right across the street is the water, right? And there was a guy this is the second time I was there. There was a guy on the beach there with his boat, and he was working on it. It was just right out of that same thing. Right. It was, I love the sweet little moments in the town, and the meals are quiet, and except for the race car, the motorcycle that goes through, and the punk rocker girl. I mean, she's funny. I said this to Angie a couple days ago. I really wanted to find out when I was reading the credits, the full credits. When I watched, I actually stopped. I paused them. I really wanted to find that one of those people in that band at the Kaylee was like someone that goes on to become the guy in Simple Minds.
We just said it's the piano player from Dire Straits.
But I wanted like the guy with the guitar player. I wanted him to be like, oh, that guy became Jimmy Page. That's a bad example, but I really was hoping that they'd had all these weird sort of behind the scenes stuff. Did we have one more whiskey? Did anybody have another whiskey they wanted to pour?
Well, I did pour one in between while everyone was talking, so I had, but I have another one.
What is it?
It is from our dear friends at Impex. It is the Glenallachie 13 Madeira Wood Finish.
Oh, I had that.
Which comes in at a lovely 54.3% ABV. So, nothing much.
Soft whiskey.
Up there last time, and literally I was having the biggest geek out with their barrel guy. Like it was like
got a
love at
barrel
first
guy?
sight.
Hey, Mike, she's got a barrel guy.
Of course she
I
does.
love a barrel
Of course
guy.
she does. She's got a barrel guy. She's got a blender guy. Blender gal.
What do you got, Mike?
You call Rachel.
I'm
Hey,
going back
Rach,
to the
what are you
same.
making?
I'm going back to the Offerman.
Oh, okay.
The Upperman. Have you had the new one? The rum? The
No,
the
it's
brand
on the
new
list
rum
of stuff
cask?
to taste. The Caribbean cask.
There
No,
you go. Yeah, good. Don, what you got? Or are you
I'm
done?
still on my summertime. I should have brought autumn, shouldn't I? But I didn't think about that.
Hey, by the
Joe,
way,
you got
if
something?
it was Japan, they have 21 seasons in Japan, or something.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
So you
That's
could
why
do
Hibiki
21
21
seasons.
is
Work.
21.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work.
That's right.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
why
all right.
there's 21. I think on the bottle there's 21.
21 facets.
That's it.
It's fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, so there you go.
What do you got, Joe?
I'm still, working away on my doers. Actually, I haven't really.
That's
gone
all
to
right. That's
something
okay.
else. Yeah.
My last one is a Kalila from the distillery. Then when I was there, 58.8, big boy whiskey, big
Yeah.
gross.
That's some heavy hitters
All right.
for a Sunday afternoon.
Heavy
there,
hitters.
Aaron.
I know it's
Good
only
Lord.
For lunch.
1:30. I
For
know.
lunchtime.
Look at that.
You're gonna be like
lunchtime with us.
taking a
Today.
nap by 3 or
Hey, Mike,
something.
what do you got,
Nap
Mike?
would be good.
What's your last one, Mike?
I
Oh, you got
say
the
we're
Offerman.
going Hoolan.
Oh, okay, well, I got one more. I have a fourth. So I've got the
Ooh,
Lefroy
fourth.
Carchase. Yeah, the fourth. So Lefroy Carchase, a port and wine cask edition. So I'm not sure if this was 2019, 2020. I forget. But anyway.
Wasn't that Global Travel Retail?
No, we got it here. This was the Carchase.
Oh, you had it here. I think in the UK, I think it was Global Travel Retail. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. No, we got it here.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you to pronounce that again for me.
what?
The bottle that you're. How are you saying it?
I don't know. It's a Carchase or Carchase?
I think it's Carchase,
Don't
right?
ask me. I'm terrible when it comes to.
I always thought it was Carchas, but
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I'm Canadian, so the hour and the oor and the
Yeah, well, you call it COVID, so who are
we
you to
do
say
call
anything?
it COVID. We do call it
COVID.
COVID. It's
I always
COVID.
thought it was the Cardias, but I'm not allowed to say
Cardias.
anything. So
Cardias
That's
is how we
COVID.
say
I'm
it.
not
Cardias.
allowed to say anything.
Cardias.
Okay, I
Cardias?
mentioned this earlier, and we're talking whiskey, so I know it's probably hard for both of you to come. Well, what's your favorite distillery as a place to visit? As a place to
Why?
visit?
The last one that was in my glass.
No, to visit. To visit.
Oh, to visit. Oh God.
We're in Scotland, a Scottish distillery. The ones in Scotland.
I'm going to go left field. I'm not going to say a distillery, but you know what? I thought the Johnny Walker experience in Edinburgh was absolutely phenomenally good. And I thought for something to try and get someone into whiskey, like I could take my mom who doesn't drink, and it was still fabulous. And I think they just freaking nailed it from a visitor perspective.
So
A
what do
friend
they
of
do?
mine is going. It's mostly everything. It's like you
Do
learn
they
everything.
deconstruct?
everything.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like you move through it. It's like really interactive, and they have actors doing all of the kind of production. There was this one absolutely amazing woman who was just genius, and she tells the story of Johnny Walker. And I mean, just genuinely, everything was so detailed that you go into this highball and you create your own highball. And I just thought how they'd brought whiskey to life was absolutely fantastic. I would highly recommend it if you're a geek all the way down to someone that doesn't even like whiskey.
It's immersive. It's almost 4D. It's almost 4D. Like it's a really, really cool experience.
So okay, so whiskey show and then train to Edinburgh for the experience.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sold.
And then
Todd,
Creek, if you
well,
want to be told, if you want to be
in
bought
Creef.
during
I'll go to Creef. It's right there. I'm right there. I'll do the triangle. We'll do the triangle.
The Creef
We'll do
Triangle.
the triangle.
The
We'll do the Glasgow, Edinburgh, Creef triangle. We'll just go
Yep.
better than the Bermuda triangle. You won't die. You'll get drunk.
Well, you might die, but they'll be
Might
able to
die.
They'll be
Might
better.
die.
You won't
How are you going to
disappear.
die, Mike? Wait, Mike, how are you going to die?
Full.
Full. There
Full.
you go.
That's right. Full. Happy. The you guys, ladies, have seen this expansion of distilleries, the conglomerization of distilleries. One thing that is really, I think you've seen a lot of is the visitor experience change. I assume, in 15 to 20 years, right? And the Johnny Walker thing is like, that's just, and I believe Macallan's got some crazy, right? They've got a crazy thing going on.
Push a button, make Macallan. Yep.
Yeah.
I love you. I want to meet you face to face.
You guys get along.
2025. Whiskey
That's
Show
right.
2025. We're all gone.
So talk about that kind of thing. But is it? I assume you're going to say it's great because it brings more people into the tent, right? The way that the distilleries all have these places we can all gather and buy bottles, but learn stuff, right? The tours, everything. These are good things, right?
It's the openness of it. I think it's so important for people to see and understand, because it's like you go to a winery, you don't fall in love until you see the country or the region it's produced in, and that connection to the actual physical product. Yeah, I did a podcast on Friday, and she said to me, what's the most important thing for you? And I said, it's especially with this new generation of people that aren't drinking maybe as much or are a lot more kind of conscious about their choices. This thing in this bottle is not alcohol. It's love, it's time, it's passion, it's incredible talent. And I think these really great visitor centers that are doing these amazing kind of tours and tastings and are really trying to kind of capture the theater of whiskey can only be good for all of us, to bring more people onto our, into our world and understanding our passion for this crazy brown liquid that, makes you happy.
Joe, what do you think?
So I've been sent, as you know, for effective and tactful communications a few times at my day job. And what I feel as a person who's been doing this for quite some time and has drank whiskey for almost 40 years. So I'm going to just let that sit with you for just a second.
I'm right there with you.
I know. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you.
Right there with you.
What I really appreciate is I have a hard time with what I call the conglomerate companies. I find their experiences are very, I don't want to say pedestrian because that's not the right word, but I much prefer going to the smaller distilleries and really getting that one-on-one, getting the feel of the DNA of the people that are there, the DNA of the story, the no nonsense, no marketing bullshit. I got to stand in line. I need an appointment. It's all about drinking the 40-year-old whatever at the end of your tour. That's not for me as a whiskey drinker. I love. I'll give an example. The cairns. I brought the girls to the cairns.
Brilliant.
See, I
brilliant
brought the girls
experience.
to the cairn. And that was, for some of them, that was the first time they had ever been to a distillery. So that was their first experience. And our tour lasted an hour and a half. It was phenomenal. We tasted some great whiskeys afterwards. And the feedback I got was, if this is what whiskey is all about, is that, quiet learning, understanding, then tasting something crazy for them, which was, I had a bad experience at university. I really don't want to taste whiskey, but then tasting something and being open to flavor profiles, DNA, discussion, like tasting something, not being told they can't take a photo, not being told, et cetera, et cetera. That's my kind of visitor experience. It's not the big brand, go to the tour, end up in the shop afterwards. Like, that's not for me personally.
But Mike likes to shop. Don't trash
Well,
the shop.
Hey,
I'm not trashing the shop. I buy stuff at the shops.
Oh,
I do.
okay.
But what I'm saying is, I prefer almost the mom and pop kind of operations. Like,
I get that.
I had a blast
completely.
at Wolfburn. I had a blast at Wolfburn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most people don't even know Wolfburn still. And I absolutely love the experience there. I absolutely love going to something like Kinninvie, which, again, not many people get to do, but not many people know.
How do you say it?
Kinninvie.
Oh, I thought it was Kin and Ivy.
Pardon?
I thought it was Kin and Ivy.
There's a lot of eyes in that thing. Yeah.
I couldn't pronounce Carchase, so I'm not allowed to talk about anything anymore.
Well, you know,
You just did.
You
Carchase.
did, Mike.
By the way, speaking of Carchase, this whiskey, yummy.
Pretty good.
Is it yummy?
It's yummy.
Pretty good.
It's yummy.
You know, Andrew, I assume that place you were talking about this place where you're going to get your fingers cut off.
Yes,
Where was that?
Ippolito's.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you go to your butcher shop, you go to your fishmonger, and you see them cutting these things up, whatever it is, or wrapping up the cheese, or whatever the commodity is. You're really, it's exciting, right? Whereas you go to some big box store and you just buy something off the shelf and you go home. You don't find out about this place.
No.
And for years, that's how you'd shop. And I think I'm guessing in the whiskey industry, distilleries, you probably couldn't originally buy stuff at a distillery, maybe long, long ago. And then they got the great idea to open a little store.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go and buy something at the store. Some places, not every place. Oh, wait, maybe we should take them behind the store, behind that door, and you can see something in the distillery. Ooh, hey, that's pretty exciting. Or walk around the grounds. Or if you're on a farm, you get to see the farm. It's been really, I think, a great evolution to see what is going on that gets into this bottle, right? Mm-hmm. And whether it's a small distillery, which I agree with you, Joe, I think the small distilleries are really fun. They're more, I remember eating grain off the floor at Kilhoman or walking, we could just wander around and walk. Were you supposed to do that? I don't know, but we did. A friend and I, we did. We walked.
That doesn't
we
sound
walked
right.
across the path way before they got bigger, and we just walked into their grain barn, and we probably could have dove into this big pile of barley. You feel like you're part of the process. You feel like you know how they're doing it and how this bottle gets made. I think it's really important. The I don't want to say Disneyfication. That's not really true, but no. Bringing up the level, spending more money, making the experience bigger and better. It's not a bad thing. You can argue that it takes some of the behind the scenes stuff out of it because it's a little bit too clean looking. It's not really what you're, right? Exactly. For the bigger places. But I think in general, if you can get people in the door and maybe into the back door a little bit, even your version of the back door, it's a good thing. If you can get someone, to wake them up and, hey, we'll come up with the door for you. This is our off day. Like, this is probably Joe. What she does. Hey, can you let me in on a Sunday morning? And let my 12 friends here walk around the back and maybe make a batch of something. That's even better, right? And there are still
I've had those experiences though.
I'm sure you have.
No, but not
like this. It's great.
Not like that. Like this is the difference. Again, it's the fishmonger versus going to Costco. The first time I went to Springbank, I was, excuse my language, I was fucking lost. I had no idea where the hell I was. I was supposed to be going to a hole in the wall to get money. And I got off track. And the next thing I know, I'm standing in the back, in a back parking lot somewhere. And this guy walks up to me and says, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, could you speak English?
I am.
And exactly. Sorry, let me enunciate better so you can understand what's coming out of my mouth. And it was.
That was pretty good.
I know.
Really
right?
Good.
Were you a local hero?
It was Pop, and that was his nickname at Springbank, and he was amazing.
What was his name?
Like Pop. His nickname is Pop.
Oh, Pop.
He's no longer there. He's retired now, but his nickname was Pop. And so he's like, "Do you like whiskey?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you're at Springbank," and I'm like, "What?" And then I really realized where the hell I was. And the next thing I knew, I was wearing protective gear, and I was standing in the pagoda while things were being smoked, and I was just like, it was the most amazing experience. But that's the horseshoe up Whiskey Lassie's ass of just kind of wandering into areas and finding stuff. You know, I had the same experience.
And if you'd gone to the other direction, you'd have been human trafficked at that point. So
thank you.
it
Right?
could have worked out this way.
I'm just saying.
She's on a cargo ship. Don't know where she's going.
God knows where.
Bound for
We don't
Russia.
care.
I don't know. Right? But
Bride to be.
You know what this is?
At
Season 2 of The
Belvedere.
Wire. Season 2 of The Wire,
Yes.
starring Whisky Lassie.
I'm just
He's
saying.
in a
Oh.
container off the coast of
Balvenie
Baltimore.
wandering through the back 40 in their wastewater treatment plant, which is like, that's my actual, my I would say my upbringing. That's not right. My education. Right. So all of a sudden it was like the smell hit me as I'm following Ian. And I went, whoa, wait 1 second. I'm in a wastewater treatment plant. I just know it. And I looked over, saw something and went, Ian, is that whatever? And he just sort of looked at me like, I don't know, you know? So the next thing I know, I'm in the lab with Jill and I'm drinking a Balvenie 66 while I'm talking about wastewater treatment plants and environmental plants. So that's the joy of being Whiskey Lassie, is having that ability to just sort of like fall into these situations. But again, that would never happen in, not going to say brand names.
I thought the joy of Whiskey Lassie was. I thought the joy was.
I think it depends. I think sometimes the distillery is the difference. You know, like there's some distilleries that, like you, Joanne, I will not name, where, you know, you get to the end of the tour and they're like, drink responsibly and buy all the whiskies in our shop, and you're just like, oh god. Right. And then there's others, like I went into Lagwullen on this trip, and the girl there who did our tour was absolutely phenomenal. She, you know, her grandfather worked in the distillery, you know, her father worked in the distillery. Yeah. And that's still a big company, but it didn't feel like a big experience. And actually Port Ellen was super interesting as well. I think, you know, okay, it's uber luxury, it's like this, but I was actually pleasantly surprised by the transparency there. And it wasn't like smoke and mirrors, and I didn't have to watch a video. I mean, anyone that makes me watch a video, I just want to punch. I mean, that is just a given.
We should not travel with you. We should travel with Joe, because she doesn't want to punch people quite so much.
Hey, Dawn, who gets punched?
Who gets punched
first? Who would get punched first? The person that makes you want to watch a video, or the next, like, you know, funky gin maker that wants you to sell their beer? Who gets punched first?
That's tough. No, gin makers don't bother me anymore. They know now.
Oh, they don't? Oh, they gave up? They gave up? Good. See, you sent the message.
Joe's punching me.
Everyone's punching you.
Everybody's punching you, Mike. Poor Mike.
See, by the way, that's the other joy of being the Whiskey Lassie, slapping you around.
I still want to know if Aaron, Gilo, and I, if we some like it hot.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we do that?
With you, and we can go over and, you know.
Yeah.
We're good. We're all part of the ladies.
Come on.
We're just lasses.
That's it.
Don't hit
we're
us.
not attractive. But we're
I mean, obviously, Aaron and I will wear wigs. So
I think all of us will wear wigs and a lot of foundation garments. But that's a whole different story.
Totally, yes. I totally get all this. I think
Spanx,
it's so
Mike,
true. Spanx. You want to.
There's got to be some sort of test to that. I'm not sure. It might not hold.
You want people to get into the door. You want them to learn about this thing, and you don't. You want it to be more egalitarian, and to get people to enjoy what the DNA of this stuff is. Some places with more money take a different route. Some places that don't have a lot of money take a more personal route, and I guess it's to each his own. I was thinking when you said that about the video, I don't remember ever seeing a video where they said, "Here, go watch this video." I remember seeing little video screens, but I remember what's the name of that family in that starts with a U? Urquhart?
Oh, Urquharts.
Urquhart.
What isn't that? There's a castle, right? Also Urquhart Castle, right?
Yeah.
And I was there with my daughter and my daughters and my wife, and that was like this total like Disney thing where they lead you into this big room right near the gift shop, and you sit and watch this like huge movie on this huge, like not IMAX but big screen, right? You have to watch this movie so you can get to the gift shop. That would not be great for me at a distillery. It's not great for me at a castle, but that is kind of annoying. Sure. I don't like that. I agree with you.
I got to tell you though, when we were in Edinburgh, we did the Whisky Experience, and you go through the whole thing, and
that's supposed to be great too.
Instead of Chocolate World, where at the end they give you a little piece of candy, they send you out at the very end. Well, in the middle they give you a shot, which is very nice. The kids got an earned brew; they were happy. But at the end, you empty at a bar and a liquor store, which is very nice. I don't want a T-shirt, but these bottles are very shiny. I would like those. I've only been to Scotland once. We did a Dalwhinnie tour, and it was just happened to be part of the tour we were on, a Harry Coo tour. We stopped in Dalwhinnie, and while they're part of Diageo, it was very small scale in terms of the tour, and it was almost a home feel kind of feel to it, and it was very nice. And what I found interesting was, as the technology has caught up, the jobs move from the distilling to travel and tourism. So they're probably employing as many people as there were before. They just have totally different jobs now, where the tourism piece of it is so much higher.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was very odd is that they share warehousing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the warehouse in Dalwhinnie, they had a cask from the early 1960s. And they couldn't tap it because they didn't know whose it was.
Oh wow! That's
so they periodically go by and they rock it and they make sure it's moving around a bit, and they will taste from it, but they're like, we can't do anything with this because no one knows whose actual whiskey this is, and we share a warehouse. We've picked cask up from the people, and we have no idea who's this. Like, how does that happen? Where you actually lose whiskey somewhere? But like, yeah, we made so much. I don't know where it went. I have no idea.
I thought you were going to say they shared warehouse space with Costco. That's really weird.
They very well might at this point. There could be some Kirkland
toilet paper barrels. Yes,
but they actually had 2 barrels high, and they'd be like, "This is ours. This is somebody else's. This is somebody else's. This is ours." And if we make too much or not too much, but we have a very good yield, we'll go and use somebody else's. And they had a barrel, and the guy was just rocking the barrel like as part of the tour, going, "We have no idea whose whiskey this is. I've tried it; it's very good. We have no idea whose whiskey this is."
Don, I want you run these four large consumer, 6 large. Well, I want to get. I want to know about 5 and. That's why I want to talk about 5 and 6. So, running it. I'm going to be at a trade show for my day job too this week in Anaheim, right near Disneyland. I cannot imagine running a trade show, and that's kind of what you're doing, right? You're running a trade show. You and your team. I know you're gonna say very nice things about your team. I know you do a lot of it, and you do one for what whiskey, rum, champagne, cognac, and now you've added 2 more, correct? First, talk about how this thing is evolved, this show, and then talk about these last 2 that you're doing, because one of them I am totally excited about.
Ooh, does it start with an M?
The start with an M, yes.
Oh.
So I think for us, part of what makes us different from most retailers is the immersive and educational side that we deliver. I can hand on heart say that I think we deliver it better than anyone else I know. For us, education is at the heart of everything we do. I think we have an insanely talented bunch of individuals that work for us that know everything from beer to whiskey to amamori to sake to wine. And, it's about really giving the consumer the tools to go out and feel comfortable and confident. And I think shows like whiskey show, like rum show, like cognac show. I mean, who in the world is crazy enough to put on a cognac show? That is niche. That is me and Sakinda sitting down one day and going, we like very cognac. Niche. Let's do a show. And I think, for us, it's super important to bring this kind of, yes, we have 3 incredible bricks and mortar stores, but we're also a company that delivers and works across the globe. And actually, these shows are a way of kind of bringing our consumer and meeting our consumer and putting faces to the names and really like bringing our community together, because that's what we are. We're a community. So, each show is kind of a course. Sekinda started Whiskey Show, and then me and Sekinda did Cognac Show together. Then Champagne Show came next because I love champagne.
Why not?
I want to drink champagne. Let's have a show.
So let me get. Does the champagne include cava? Does it include prosecco,
No.
or is it only champagne?
No,
Only
I could not call it champagne if I had any other sparkling wines in there.
You can't
What are
call
you,
the
a
sparkling
sommelier?
wine.
So
Sommelier?
cognac, we do have Armagnac and Calvados now, but no other brandies outside of France. It's important for us to keep the authenticity of each of the and not dilute them, I guess. We'll do master classes where it compares English, maybe sparkling with champagne, just to show people differences to kind of use to educate. But we've had guest spirits and things like Whiskey Show. But yeah, the two new ones, we are going to do mezcal and tequila because, as we all know, mezcal and tequila is booming all over the world. And I think, especially with mezcal, there's still a lot of mystification around. I think people are still very scared of it. They all think it's all smoky, and we all know it's not. And so I really wanted to do that. And hopefully we're working on something super cool with that. And then
when is that?
The next one I wanted to do.
When's the mezcal?
I'm working on
got it.
Me and the team have a meeting this week to kind of break down everything and say what we want to do. But yeah, hopefully we've got some really good things coming with that. And then, Whiskey Show is big now. I mean, Whiskey Show is huge. And for anyone that wants to walk into that show as a beginner, it's hugely daunting. I wouldn't want to start my whiskey journey at Whiskey Show. I think, Whiskey Show is for someone that's got a bit of confidence. It's big, it's bustling, geeky. So I wanted to bring the next generation into whiskey. And so we're doing a show called Welcome to Whiskey, which is pretty much going to be everything under 100 pounds, very basic. It's going to be the big boys, the small guys, but very, very curated. Every sort of stand has been chosen by myself and my team to kind of really show the diversity within whiskey, but in a really simple, clear way. And we're going to basically break down whiskey into the sum of parts. So in then hope that we bring that next kind of consumer through into the Whisky Exchange and, of course, into Whiskey Show.
That's
busy.
Awesome. That's
When's that happen? When's that one happening, Dawn?
So let me get this right. So cognac is March.
Okay.
Then April is Welcome to Whiskey. May is agave. July is rum. Okay. Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Is it the same location for all of these, right? I assume, or no?
Sorry?
Same venue for each one?
So it's all, we have an amazing partner that we work with is Glazers Hall, but for Whiskey Show we work with Old Blazegate because it's just too big. It's a beast. So the rest have about sort of 300 to 500 customers per session. So it's a lot smaller. Whereas Whiskey Show has at least 1,200, 200 plus.
I have to tell you,
the first time you go.
Yeah,
I can't
it is.
imagine.
It's overwhelming.
We'll be overwhelmed next year, boys. We're going to be overwhelmed next year.
Yeah, you will be. Right? You'll love it.
Yeah. I got to say, I went to a mezcal festival here in Los Angeles. We have a gentleman here in LA who is very well known in the Oaxacan world. He has a few restaurants, and he promotes the small. I'm very bad at this. They're called? Not called distilleries. They're called
Mezcalerias.
Mezcalerias. And and he was like 50 or 60 small, all from Mexico families that came up in this little. It was actually it's a film studio in Los Angeles. It was beautiful, and I can't even explain. The beginning of this event was there was a blessing with all these folks by this one, like a priest. Everything was, of course, I don't speak Spanish very well. And he was blessing all of these vendors for having a great day. And then he walked around the whole room with a thing with smoke. And it was just beautiful. And everyone's so nice. Mm-hmm. And they're literally, this gentleman sitting here at the end of the table. He's my grandfather, and he's been doing this since he was 5 years old. And you really get the sense of terroir. You get the sense of place. You get the sense of family. It's a really beautiful spirit, and it's not all smoky, and that's such a misnomer. It really comes in all kinds of flavors and styles, and it's beautiful. So I wish you a lot of luck with that, because it's great. It's really taken a hold here in the United States too. It's big. We have kept you guys for 2 hours almost, and this has been just spectacular. We have talked a great Scottish themed movie, Local Hero. We have talked Scotch whiskey. We have talked Scotland with two friends, Johanne McInnis, Don Davies. We cannot thank you enough for being on What We Watch When We Drink. Ladies, gentlemen, thank our friends here. This will be out.
Please use that term loosely. Jeez.
Very loosely.
Which one, gentlemen or ladies?
Gentlemen or
ladies.
friends? Which one are friends? Where did you go with that?
It's all loose. It's all fast and loose here. That's how we do it.
This will be on a podcast out within a week or two, I would think.
Yep.
And you can download this at your leisure with a nice glass of something in front of you, and you can listen on the train.
How about a bottle? How about a nice bottle? It's 2 hours.
Or a
I
bottle.
need a bottle. I need a bottle. Yes.
Bottle.
This is Many Drams. The Many Drams
That's
episode.
Right. This
I
has
want to be able to
been really
remember the
wonderful.
episode. Mm.
Yes.
By the way, we may not give a damn, but we do give a dram.
That's true.
No, we take a dram.
And
we don't give.
And I
dram.
can't wait. I can't wait to hear stories when Joe and Don get together one day, and I'm sure they'll meet somewhere, probably on the other side of the pond.
2025.
Yes,
2025.
or
That's it.
This will be good. These people are destined to be in the same room together, I think.
I have a whiskey bingo card, and Don is on it. I haven't quite.
There you go.
Yeah, I do.
There
I have a
you
whiskey
go.
bingo. Every time I meet somebody, what I consider like famous from the whiskey fabric, I like bang, bingo dabber, done. So
Hey,
she's still on my.
Joe, have you met Sukinder?
Yes,
Oh,
I
you
did.
have met Sukinder. Okay.
I did.
Wait,
Yeah.
Joe, did you mark us off? No.
No.
Oh yeah, we
we're
were
marked
first.
off.
We're not on that
We were
board.
marked off long ago.
We're not on that
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Duh.
That's a
You know
different
what?
board.
Like, you
That's
know what
not
it
the
is?
famous.
She's looking for like 3 little plots, and she's just still mapping it out.
Yeah.
She's
She marked
got to
us
find the
off.
right location.
She's marking
Pat
us off.
Lefroy Pete Bog is looking for
No.
That's right.
Cleveland.
She's
Cleveland.
coming up with new email addresses as we speak.
We're
Yes.
getting
buried
ready
in
to bingo. Is that what we're saying?
McGinnis.Joanne@gmail.com. Joanne.McGinnis@gmail. She's signing up as we speak.
Yep.
They're going to wonder what's going on there at Lefroy. Ladies, thank you so much. This was great. We love seeing
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
coming
Thank
back
you. Thank you.
on. This is so fun.
You know
Don't
what you just
go
did?
anywhere.
You made a dream come true. That's what you did.
You
Right?
did.
We had a
Yes.
whiskey dream. It was a whiskey
We had a
fever
whiskey-
dream, but it was a whiskey dream nonetheless.
And, yes.
And
It's like
let
being
us
at
know
Disneyland. Yes.
If either of you are near us, we'd be more than happy to meet you up in person.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
You can come to the
100%.
States. Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Cheers. Don't go anywhere. We're going to run the credits and then we'll chat for a bit afterwards. Thank you again. And have a great Sunday.
Cheers, folks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Where's the credits? Oh, there they are. Cheers.